So I've been watching this game in the background, like I normally do when it comes to play-ins, especially at the moment. I've been trying to do, I have been trying to make content, but it's quite difficult when, like, all the games are at an insanely early hour. But yeah, this is a live reaction to Game 5, BDS versus PSG. We have to see what happens with the draft. The Kalista ban at PSG is a bit interesting. I mean, I haven't been paying much attention to the drafts while I was watching live. I was literally just doing homework whilst doing this, is in uni homework. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens. The Ori ban has been something I've noticed throughout. I think Jarvan would be a weird comfort pick to bring in right now. Especially when PSG have been doing so well. The Rao is something that they've been playing quite a lot. Yanja does like the Rao. Woody kind of likes the Rao, so it's not a bad pick for them. If I'm BDS, I'm probably looking to respond, maybe not directly with a jungle, but like maybe with an Adam or Crowny comfort pick, and then a jungler in response. The Garen, I think, is not time. It's not time for a Garen. Yeah, Olaf's been very good, but you know, it's difficult to say. You might be able to hear the Japanese commentary in the background. It's been a lot of fun. The Maokai pick makes sense. It's a good jungle response. I do expect that this will probably be... Firstly, I think it should be a ADC or a support, but it probably won't be. We'll have to see. Please not Lee Sin. Anything but Lee Sin, and I'll be happy. It's interesting, because there's like lots of ways BDS could go about this, but I don't think they're going to do anything too extreme. I do like the jungle support response, because it means that PSG now sort of have to, if they want to respond, like, they have to give away the flex immediately. I mean, the flex has sort of done its job, but it's not as effective as it would be otherwise. And, like, they've got two strong responses no matter what they do with the Rao. If they secure their bot lane here, then that does play into BDS's hands a little bit. Because it just means that BDS can round off their support whilst having the jungle support duo known. The Felios pick also, I'm not sure if it's the strongest ADC here. Especially when you know what Crowny's pool is like. Don't go Renekton. Please just don't go Renekton. I'm going to do a video on DFM and Loud. Oh, I'm going to do a video on like all the teams that failed to make it. But the Nar's also not a great pick in my opinion. It's better than the Renekton would be. But I guess it stops them like completely running out the draft. But like if you're BDS, you just respond with ADC here. Or you respond with a response into the Gnar. Like, you have two choices here, and you get counter either way. And then on the other side, you get counter as well. So, they've picked this area. That means there's going to be more, like, bans into Adam's response to the Gnar. But at the same time, I don't think there's an issue with it particularly. I think, like, this is a fine position to be in if you're BDS. The Nico ban, fine. I mean, you want Nook to probably play a control mage rather than assassins. So, I think you're alright with that if you're BDS. I think, like, you've got to... what does Adam like to play? Adam likes the Garen into the Gnar matchup. So, like, PSG could go for that. They could go for an Olaf ban, I guess, if they want to keep taking comfort away from Adam. But at the same time, I don't think that's really worth it. The Azir ban's fair, because Nook just wants to play Azir whenever he can. But... I don't know. I honestly think you're better off just taking Fix to make Agi more comfortable in his lane. Agi is an important player for PSG. In the same way that Crowny and Adam are important players for BDS. Agi is like the third piece behind Maple and Yunanja. And also, the banning for BDS here is a lot easier. They just take two mid lanes away from Maple, knowing that everything else they can sort of deal with. They're gonna they should lock in their top lane here, so they have counter pick in mid. Unless they have something very specific in mind in mid, but I can't think, nothing comes to mind right now. Might be because it still feels a little bit early, and because I was literally just doing work rather than revising, but I wouldn't mind the Draven. I mean, sorry Darius, not Draven. You're just keeping Adam on comfort, and I think that's really important. I mean, personally, I'm not a big fan of Adam, but like, keep him on comfort. If you're going to play Adam in your team, you've got to keep him on comfort, and that's exactly what they're doing here. I think that this next response is going to be very difficult, actually. Because if you're going to lock a jungler... Okay, so now you need to lock in a mid laner who wants to go in. You haven't got Nico, you haven't got LeBlanc. Talia sort of does that, but now your Aphelios is completely out of scheme with the rest of your comp. She can go in, kind of, but she's just going to be left so vulnerable, especially from the Darius. Like, Darius is going to have such through roam onto your backline, and your backline's only one character. And honestly, you've got so much, like, to stop them getting onto your backline as BDS. Like, you've got the Maokai, not Malphite. You've got the Maokai, you've got the Alistar. If you want Darius to frontline rather than just dive onto the backline, you've got the Darius. Zeri and Trist have lots of ability to get away versus, like, a team that just wants to go in. The only thing that you could say is that the Talia wall could split Darius from the rest of the team, and that would make it quite easy to finish him. But, like, Darius will probably have Ghost Flash, because that's what Adam likes, and that makes it a lot harder to do that sort of thing. Also, like, adding to that, it's not like Zeri can't hop over the wall, it's not like Trist can't hop over the wall, it's not like, the other two can't, but, like, it's not like they can't deal with being on the wrong side of the wall themselves. It's not like they're not vulnerable. I think BDS probably won this draft quite comfortably here, and I don't think there's much really PSG have an advantage in at this point in the game. I mean, obviously, realistically, there's not, like, a reason to say that they're out of this yet. There's a reason why they've taken this to 3 games. But, like, just off the draft of Game 3, or Game 5 even, Game 5 plus momentum is in favour of BDS. I am a BDS kind of fan. I mean, I'm a fan of Crowny, I'm a fan of Nook, I'm a fan of Sheo. But at the same time, like, I don't really like their fans, and I don't really like Adam. But, like, I do think this is in favour of BDS right now. European pride, go strong. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Rejoin you when I rejoin you. Actually, I was planning on just, like, dropping in and out, like, when interesting and important things happen. But I think I might just do this whole game live. For those wondering, the Zeri and Alistar runes are completely standard. If you can see it, I'm gonna move. No, it's better for me to be on this side. I have to mess with the camera too much. But yeah, we're gonna keep this like it's a stream and just keep it quite long. One thing I would say, I'm gonna lower the desktop volume. Give me a second. Because as much as I think it's still Jaeger Recruit, best commentators in the business. As much as I love them, like, you don't need to hear them right now, especially as most people who are watching this probably don't speak Japanese. But Waco and Woody here posturing is, like, kind of irrelevant. Like, they have a slight advantage level 1, but it's not going to be big, and they're just going to have to try. I think Lebrov's actually taking way more damage than I'd be comfortable taking if I was the Alistar. I would say, though, that, like, they're not going to be able to take that much of an advantage at level 2. And Crowny is just going to wait and allow the lane to push into him, because that's what he wants to do. He's going to be comfortable in that situation in the lane. They've got a little bit of a freeze, but, like, it's not big enough that Crowny's going to worry about it. In fact, the freeze here for Crowny is better than the lane pushing back into Waco. So I think he's fine with that. Looking at the other side of the map as well, like, the bot lane is definitely going to be the one that BDS don't look to get ahead. And if PSG push the lane in here, that's just going to give them an advantage again. Yeah, the lane that's going to be the most interesting is definitely going to be mid. Nook doesn't tend to play unstable lanes because he's just not that sort of focal point for the team. So the fact that he's chosen Tristana, it makes sense within the draft, but at the same time, it's going to be difficult for him and his team to manage it. Especially, like, normally in this sort of, like, with Darius and with Adam on Darius and Crowny are playing on a weaker side lane in terms of, like, it's not got a push, so it's harder to gank. It's harder to proactively gank, rather. It's more responsive. No, that's not true. That's not true. You can't dive in the same way. It's harder to set up dives, but you can do this. Like, they're going to take advantage. Normally this is what they do. That's what I was trying to say. Oh my god, my brain is not functioning. Lebrov getting quite a lot out of Woody there. It means that PSG are not going to have the same aggression in their next team fight, because in their next bot gank even, because Woody won't have Ignite. But what I was trying to say is, like, normally Trist, they wouldn't pick something like Trist because he can't get the same level of, like, impact. Oh my god. They're not really playing this very well with BDS. Sheo and Lebrov could die here. Crowny's done very well there to support his team. He's lost his flash for it, though. That's tragic. Sheo and Lebrov there They got absolutely baited in when Nook went in as well. And that nearly went horribly. I mean, it still did go horribly in my opinion. Losing the flash on Crownie is absolutely massive, especially in this sort of lane. It should give first Drake to PSG, and if not, it should lead to a couple of kills in bot lane for PSG, especially with the lane constantly pushing in on to Crownie. And it stops the fact that Crownie would eventually take advantage of when the junglers move. Crownie's actually in a stronger position when supports start to move away, sorry. Adam is doing very well in this lane as well, which is good for PSG if you're a BDS fan. But if you're a PSG talent fan, you're definitely the more happy of the two at the moment. And now Adam's gone down at the worst time, and Adam's probably going to be alright. But he's not going to win the 1v2 here. But he has done. He survived it, so he's fine. And with Sheo showing up, actually, they could definitely win the 2v2. And that's why PSG backed off. That was really well played, actually, by Adam. Respect to him. I thought he'd overstep there, but apparently he had perfectly managed that. And so, respect. So funny hearing like the Korean fans chanting for BDS. I saw a sign earlier saying like 4th LCK team. Sorry, 5th LCK seed. And you know what? They're more like a PSG. They're more like an LPL team, but they do have the same sort of LCK sort of fans. Like a lot of EU LCK fans tend to be BDS fans, which is really weird to me. But yeah. I do think though you're still probably happier if you're a PSG fan right now. The lack of flash on Crownie is big. It's bigger than any posturing that's happened elsewhere on the map. Especially with Nook playing in like a more volatile lane. Like, you really need Crownie to be the solid base that he normally always is. So the fact that he hasn't got this flash and he's quite vulnerable at the moment is like a really bad situation. It could be a really bad situation for BDS to be in right now. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We were only 6 minutes into the game. Crownie hasn't died. His flash is almost halfway back to coming up. So he's not got long left of being vulnerable. They probably will give up this Drake for free. There's no reason to really fight it. So they're not going to. And I think that's a clever decision from them. The one thing they've got to worry about is if PSG decide they want to like try and take advantage of the fact that they're going to seed but be close. They're coming for it. That's not a clever decision, in my opinion. Because you're only going to be able to like smite it away. Oh, they're going for the full 4v4. Woody's going to go down first, definitely. Oh, he didn't go down first. It was the Broth who went down first. That's really bad for BDS. Waco's going to be able to get away, but Yan's just going to sacrifice himself in that place. The fact that First Blood went to PSG, but BDS managed to get 2 for 1 and get Drake out of that is absolutely massive. They shouldn't have been able to get away with that, and they won't be able to get away with that in future games. Maple's going to kill Crownie here. Ooh, you know what? Crownie reacted fast, and clever use. I completely forgot about that. The fact that he could do that when I said he was going to die. But to be fair, that was a very interesting decision. I still don't think it was the right decision out of BDS, but it worked. So that's all that matters at the end of the day. I really hope they don't do that against like JDG or TES or Weibo even. Like, I think they will get absolutely punished for that. Like, how do you let Lebrov go down first as well there when they had the advantage in that 1v2 in that first for the first kill? Yanja maybe didn't even have to sacrifice himself there, but we won't speculate on that too much. The next site's going to be round Rift Herald in 2 seconds time. It's just spawned up. But I don't think BDS really should contest it after the last one. They used quite a lot to get Drake. They don't have any vision. Well, they do have some vision, but they don't have like enough to really know where to enter. And they're just going to sacrifice it, and I like that. So actually, I really don't think Rift Herald's actually worth that much. Like, I know it gives you extra gold, and it gives you like early pry onto like turrets and stuff. But like, I do feel I'm more pro like dragon scaling. Like, I would take dragons over heralds every day. I know that's not like a popular opinion necessarily, but I just think the guaranteed stats versus gold I think stats are more important. Because as long as you can survive in the game, those extra bonus stats are always more important. Also, my hair still looks awful, but it's fine. We will not worry about that right now. Adam is not going to get ganked because obviously Sheo was there, and they knew Sheo was there. What I will say is that BDS now are in the better position thanks to that one fight around Drake, which is absolutely massive. The stream is dying. Stream has died. That is definitely my Wi-Fi and nothing else. That is pretty tragic. It's back. That's good. Yeah, as I said, we're going to enter a bit of a lull state here. And I think it's just worth saying that, like, the fact that BDS even got taken this far is a pretty good sign for... Well, I was going to say it's a good sign for PSCS. Actually, no, it's a bad sign for PSCS. Because they used to be able to be better than our 4th seeds. Which is just sort of really not a good sign for the state of League of Legends. That, like, EU's 4th seed are that much better than NA's 4th seed. Are one of the top 2 non-major region, non-major region seeded teams, like instant seeded teams. I don't know. I thought PCS was better than this, having watched like some of their regular season, or a lot of their regular season actually, and all their playoffs. But I guess when like everyone's making bad mistakes and everyone's not looking very good, it's kind of hard to like judge it like that. Like a lot of the regions are actually just not very good at the moment. Like even LPL, like you look at a lot of the games and there's teams just making mistakes that they wouldn't have made like 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, like the overall level has improved, as like it constantly does, but they're still making like really silly errors that we should be aware of now. Like, for example, in this game alone, the dragon fight, how did PSG not see that like you bring in Talia, the ADC who's the most vulnerable can already hop over the wall. So all they have to do is draft someone who can also hop over the wall in mid lane, and they're absolutely going to be fine. Or someone who doesn't care about being on the wrong side of the wall, and they'll be absolutely fine. Like, also with the Drake fight, as I said, like that was part of the draft, was part of it. But at the same time, how do you lose that when you have like every advantage? You had priority in the river, you were ahead in the game, you're better, had better item spikes. Like, losing that fight just is a bit embarrassing, really. And the fact that allowed BDS to get back into the game, especially when Crownie didn't have flash, and Crownie like obviously needs flash at all times. He obviously doesn't need it at all times, but you know what I mean. Like, he constantly needs to have flash in fights, otherwise he's a vulnerable weak point in the team. BDS should be able to get this Drake. It'll be interesting to see whether PSG try and contest. There's no reason really not for them to contest, other than that Adam has prio, but as he does have TP, so it doesn't really matter that Adam's walking down first. In fact, actually, he's going to stop Adam from walking down. So the fact that they got Rift Herald down is going to be pretty useful for them, especially as it's currently a 3v4. No, it's going to be 2v4 actually in the river at the moment. Maple does have to watch out being caught out. Like, anyone who sits around this sort of area for PSG has to worry about being caught. It's going to be Lebrov who gets caught first. I mean, it was true for both teams. It was just slightly more true for PSG. And the fact that Lebrov's already out of the fight just means BDS have to back off, and they just refuse to respect like this choke here. They could have just come through here and they wouldn't have had the same issues. I get that you want to get there as quickly as possible, but it's just they could have come. Sorry, I was doing it on the full web. They could have just come through the other side, and they'd have been completely fine with it. It would have been slightly slower, like maybe 2 seconds slower, if that. But like the lack of respect there, and the fact that it instantly makes you lose the fight, it's just sort of like confuses me, because surely is someone like Lebrov, who plays in LEC, is recognized as one of the top Western supports. You don't make that sort of error. Like, surely. Like, the only reason you could make that sort of error is your teammates are calling desperately for you to hurry up and join the play. But your teammates don't need to be that panicked, and your teammates should be aware that they can just back off a little bit. Or they can if they want to step up a little bit, they can then create it so it's less of a choke for you. But yeah, like playing like that was just silly. Lebrov is always going to get caught out there. He's always going to get absolutely chunked out. He's not tanky enough at this point in the game to be able to walk through that and be completely unscathed, especially as a game is so close. Like, you're not ahead in the game. I mean, you were 300 gold ahead at that point. So yeah, it's a very weird, curious play. Yeah, it doesn't really make much sense to me, I'm going to be honest. With the moving of the ADC, the bot lane, into mid, it will be interesting to see what happens because, as I've already stated, like, BDS's comp is a bit more volatile than PSG in the straight laning phase. I'm a bit surprised that ADC is so far ahead for PSG. I did expect it to be ahead, I just didn't expect it to be 600 gold difference and be the second biggest. But I guess it does sort of make sense because Crownie was just constantly pushed under tower, even with all the jungle influence that happened. God, I'm feeling so ill. Why does this happen every year at Worlds? But yeah, what will be interesting to see is like whether Crownie stays behind in the game or whether he eventually gets ahead as team fighting comes more into relevance. Very sorry about that, I just hit my mic. It's the issue of not having the boom arm. It's currently being used for something else in the flat because it's got a clamp. But yeah, it's a bit tragic. I should have it back for next video. For this Rift Tower fight, I think if you're BDS, you're just going to be doing the typical stare down and not even fighting, yeah, especially with the Tilia wall. BDS, I don't really know why they didn't push in. They had some vision, but not a lot again. But if you're not going to push in because you're worried about vision, if you're not going to push in quickly because you're worried about vision, why are you even bothering to contest? Like, go and play cross map. And now you're just putting yourself behind in the game, and there was no reason to do so. Adam is not going to catch Ashi here. He's going to catch him, but I don't think he's got enough to... Oh, okay, no, the ult, he's got enough to kill him. See, I always think that, like, without using ult, when I say I don't think he's going to have enough, I always forget that, like, when you have, like, a Darius or a Garen player, they can just hit ult whenever they want. I always forget that. So... that's sort of the reason. I mean, I guess that kind of makes up for it, and I guess you're now technically ahead in gold, and Adam might be able to get the full turret down here if no one else is going to come up and see him. Sheo won't go down here. In fact, actually, it could be Yanja who goes down. The fact that Nook gave him someone to hop onto, though, is not very good. That's quite bad play out of the mid laner. There you go, there's the tower down. Crownie's going to look to push this wave, and he's probably then going to back. I doubt he won't do it though. The turret as the cannon minion didn't go down. Oh my god, I cannot speak today. This is not going well. Both sides will back here in the bot lane though. In terms of items, I would say that PSG Talon are actually still ahead as of right now, but when you're buying Crown on Tilia, that's just never really a good thing to see. I'm just still not really a fan of the Crown at all. This was not a bad play out of Adam. I would say though, both like on any other sort of champion, burning your ult and ghost for a singular kill probably isn't the best play. But I guess in Darius it just makes sense. You get your ult back so quickly. Ghost is not something you completely rely on as long as you've got flash. So I guess it's fine. It's just that's why I don't really like those champions. Is that, like, they kind of feel a lot less skillful and a lot more just like you don't have to learn the game sort of champs. And that's not like an indictment of someone like Adam, by the way. That is just like my opinion on the champions. BDS are going to give up 2 turrets here for 1 and for Drake. Honestly, if you're BDS, I don't think that's the end of the world. It does mean that the Rift Tower is probably going to get more value than it should, and it is, in fact, because it's going to get the second charge off. But I think if you're BDS, you're probably still content with that. Adam could get collapsed on here, actually. They know he hasn't got Ghost, but he should just be able to flash if he wants to. He's just going to sit here. Yuan's just going to get caught out as well on the other side of the fight. Thank you, Japanese broadcast, for highlighting that for me, because I heard that. Thanks to you. He's not going to no one's going to go down here, but it means that Adam gets saved. As soon as Yanja goes down that quickly, like, you can't be ganking Adam, and that means Aji's wasted his TP. And that is pretty big news for BDS. Not because there's a fight coming up in general. Like, I don't think anyone's going to go Baron before his TP comes up. But I do think it's pretty big. The Cloud Soul, as the broadcast is highlighting, isn't necessarily the most like important soul in this site. I mean, it's probably better than like Chemtex, but it's still not that great. So dragon stacking is not going to be that crucial. It's still important, and I mean, it is the one thing that I think it makes League a bit more interesting is that Dragon Soul stacking is like, it's really important, but also not, because you can get absolutely screwed by the Soul. Which is why, like, my way of thinking of like Soul over Herald, Drake's over Herald, is like a bit of a controversial one, because I would always say Drake's over Herald. Just because you get guaranteed extra stats versus gold, and like I think Herald always requires setup after you've taken the fight. So like, well, versus having to only set up for the fight is important. Labrov gets a decent knockup, but it's actually BDS who would get the worst end at the start of the fight. But the ult from Maokai is going to catch out the Rel, and that's going to be the Rel going down almost instantly. Maokai gets the kill. That's probably not who you wanted to get the kill, but it's not the end of the world. The one for none is alright for now. I think if you're PSG, though, you can probably in a better state to continue the fight. Especially as Labrov and Sheo are sort of split from Crowny and Nook. Crowny's going to hop over and join them, though. He's going to look to try and get the red buff. If you're Agi here, though, you probably want to keep poking down someone. Red buff goes to PSG. Yanja manages to get it. I don't think that really matters in the grand scheme of things, especially when you've already lost your support. So the reason why... So some people ask us, the reason why BDS couldn't continue the fight there is because once... for Woody, even though they had a 5v4... like, everyone was so chunked down. Like, you look at Labrov's health here. Like, Labrov almost goes down, like, effectively. Sheo is quite chunked out a little bit as well. Even Adam gets chunked out quite a bit. You don't really want to, like, engage, especially when you don't have vision onto the opponents. And BDS don't need to engage, but PSG... But they would have to step up into PSG in that situation. PSG will just melt you if you're stepping up alone, and if you're slightly too split and your teammates can't, like, auto. Especially as Nook and Crowny are so reliant on their autos to get their damage done. And obviously it's a ranged auto. Sheo should be fine here. Yeah, especially with the flash. He was never really caught there. And Maple ult for Sheo's flash is not a big deal, because Sheo's flash is not an important flash within BDS. Maple's ult as well is not an important ult for its cooldown. Like, its cooldown is so quick that it doesn't matter. So I think that is sort of a nothing engagement. It's one of those where, like, if it was onto like the ADC, they might be too hesitant to drop the flash and escape. But onto like the jungler, especially a Maokai player, they're just gonna have to drop the flash and escape, and you're just gonna not really get anything for it, and they're not gonna lose anything for it particularly. I mean, it's bigger than the support, who obviously has Hextech flash as well, but it's a nothing play. The next fight will probably be a Baron fight, depending on who wants to set up around it. It might also just be a setup Baron fight. Oh god, I love having to cut things out because I'm feeling so ill. I'm genuinely feeling grim. I kind of want this game to end quickly, but obviously I want to like have fun as well with the game. So we'll see what happens. I think Adam here is like BDS are in an interesting position where like they need to step up into PSG's faces if they want to play the game. But they don't want to overstep, because if they get too high up in the mid lane, they will just get collapsed on quite quickly. PSG are going to be aware of the backing here. They might look to rush down Baron. They don't really have a fast Baron, or like a fast enough Baron to do that yet. But they could have gone for it though. If it had been anyone other than Crowny, I guess, going back. The fact that Nook, Agi, and Maple all have their TP up though is going to stop like people from looking to rush too much. But you never know what happens. You never know how desperate a team might get. But it's currently even. I'm actually surprised by that, because PSG have looked behind quite a lot of the game. Definitely feels like BDS still have the power to dictate. Oh, that was a good engage. That was a massive engage. And that's going to be instant turn onto Baron. The one thing they've got to worry about with an instant turn onto Baron is that PSG still have like quite a strong ability to collapse. The only thing you would say is that BDS have a very fast Baron, and like without Waco, the ability to like deal the damage once you collapse into someone is a lot harder. Adam being stuck on the wrong side of the wall was pretty important. Lebrov's getting a decent engage. They're going to just keep the backline out of it. Lebrov's probably going to go down here, but that's fine. For a Baron +1, for one, it's absolutely fine. And Nook, that's a bad play from Nook. And that's really bad. That is awful from Nook. They're going to turn this into a Drake. And actually, Drake and 1 kill. Sorry, Baron on 1 kill for Drake and 2 kills. Like, you're not in that bad a shape if you're PSG, actually. And Nook turned that from a really good play into kind of a meh play. Just simply trying to go for too much there. Like, you are absolutely fine going 1 for 1, but going 1 for 2 is just not worth it. That was such a good engage from Adam, followed up by Lebrov so well. And then you get the opening kill, and you're very happy with that. But then, like, you're fine with losing Lebrov here as well. Like, Lebrov hopping out. Like, Lebrov is only here to, like, push them back. He's quite happy dying here, especially as it's only 1 for 1. And you might be able to get, like, you're thinking here, you might be able to get one back. And then as soon as Nook hops in, when the rest of the team backs off, that's just, like, a breakdown in communication. And just really not very good play anyway from Nook. Like, the only reason you should be able to you should go for that is if, like, Lebrov is going in, or like Mako's going in. No, sorry, not Mako. Maokai and Adam are also looking to go in. Like, then you can go. But like going on your own there without like communicating, let's go as 4, let's go as 4. It's just like silly. Lebrov's gonna go down here as well. Lebrov getting chunks out there's a bit weird. He didn't really need to. But yeah, no, it's getting sloppy from BDS, actually. They're getting more sloppy as the game's going on. Comparing a gold with, like, the previous 2 games, it's very close. Neither team's really got a massive advantage. BDS getting this tower is going to be big for them, though. So, I mean, I doubt you'll be here still if you're, like, a new player, but just in case. Like, the mid tower, getting that down allows you to roam so much more comfortably through the jungles, allows you to rotate to different lanes much more easily. And so, like, you getting the mid towers, or getting the first mid tower is always really important. I would argue it's the most important tower in the game, apart from maybe, like, Nexus towers. Even then, that's a bit debatable. I'd still say maybe mid T1's probably more important. BDS rotating down to bot side is kind of important because this is the T2 that they should be able to get the most easily because it's the most chunked down. But also it just pulls PSG away. This is the power of getting the mid T1 because they can continue to threaten here down in bot lane, and then they can move to top lane. Maple is going to be late if they tries to take a fight. This ult is probably mostly just to push the tower down. They probably won't go for a fight. And there you go, there's the tower going down. That's pretty big. I think that for BDS, they're just going to back off here. Rift Herald. Baron has gone down. Baron buff's gone down. And Maple is just going to clear this lane, and then he's going to run back towards top to catch that wave. But yeah, BDS now have quite a big lead thanks to the Baron, but I still think like losing the second player for the Baron is just really not good for them. They could be on like, what? They're currently 2k gold ahead. They could be 2.5k, maybe 3k ahead, had they not lost Nook as well. And yeah, he'd have had Baron buff. They'd have had 5 players with Baron buff. With 4 players with Baron buff. With 4 players with Baron buff, you can threaten 2 lanes much more effectively. And as she's going to actually be able to get bot T1 back, so actually didn't even gain that much of an advantage. You're still equal on towers overall. And it's your mid that is like struggling rather than their bot, which is struggling. That's lost 2. So actually, I think PSG are still fairly level despite the gold difference right now. In terms of items, you are looking at 3. So you're looking at what? 2 completed versus 2 completed in the top lane. 2 completed versus 2 completed in jungle. 2 versus 2 in mid. 2 versus 3 in bot. And 1v1 in support. But no, it's unless you count the support item as being completed, which I guess technically it is. But I don't really count support items. Shayo having done the most damage is kind of interesting. I get that he's done some really good setups, but I haven't really seen that much damage out of him. I guess it's the burn damage on top of the saplings that have done quite a lot, but I didn't expect that. I think it's interesting. I think if you're BDS here, you probably look to like get vision down, like set up as if you're gonna fight, and then like rotate to Baron or threaten Baron. Like maybe even just delay so that Baron's up at the same time. And then PSG have got to make a choice, because I don't think that Cloud Soul is that important to either side. But if you're PSG, you probably feel like you're behind right now, despite everything. Like, so you probably look to get onto the Drake and get guaranteed response. Interestingly, the 3 completed items faded. The advantage that Crownie had in terms of completed items has now been nullified, and actually, it's only in mid lane now that there's an advantage. And even then, I'd say that that's like the most volatile advantage you could have, because Nook can go down quite easily. Tristana's have a habit of rocket jumping badly. Nook's already shown that you can do it. The engage onto Yancha's kind of nice, but Adam's actually going to get chunked out more. Adam's going to have to run. He's going to survive. No! Lebrov didn't cover him. This could be absolutely massive. He should have used... That's a very good point from the coach. Why didn't he use Ghost or Flash there? He had too much confidence he's going to survive, and that's going to be a very quick Baron. That's going to go down almost instantly. There's no response here. There's not going to be a way to steal. They are going to get one back. No, they're not. They're not even going to get one back onto Aju. This is massive for PSG. That is really well played. But why? If you're Adam, why? They're going to get Drake back. That's going to be 3 Drakes to 2, which is a slight advantage for BDS. But in terms of Herald, in terms of Baron, in terms of turrets, that's a massive advantage for for PSG. BDS could have just lost the game off Adam not flashing. Crownie's going to look to cover, but he can't 1v1 Agi, and with like Baron empowered minions, he's just not going to be able to complete. They really need to cover this mid lane. If they lose T3 mid, that could be game, honestly. It's one of those situations where like it's quite hard to like say what's going to happen next. Like I genuinely just don't know, because Adam should have never have died. They should have never have lost that fight. I mean, I guess that is like the issue of having someone who can only play Adam's pool, in that he is quite volatile just naturally by his pool, let alone like his playing style as well. And yeah. Huh. Ooh, who are they going to go into? They're not going to get on anyone. That does mean they get tower for free. Yeah, no, PSG are definitely favoured. They might even be able to just like push this down. If they can get 2 inhibs, that would be massive for them. They're definitely going to get 1. I don't think they're going to get the second, to be honest, as of right now, because they're going to have to back off and reset a little bit. The engage onto Yancha isn't going to get much other than chunk. It's big. It's a big chunk, but... Oh my god, I didn't think that BDS would be getting fucked in this situation. I genuinely thought after game 4, PSG wouldn't be able to put up as much of a fight, but clearly they've got it. They're playing very well. Yeah, I do question the lack of Adam Flash, the lack of Lebrov Flash to try and cover. Like, why be so conservative if you're Adam with your Flash and Ghost there? Doesn't make much sense. I guess he's just got the same issue that a lot of players have, where they only like using Flash aggressively. Obviously, if people remember, like 2020 TSM, where they exclusively used Flash aggressively, especially at Worlds, and it just absolutely fucked them. But, Jesus. That was a bad mistake. Potentially a game-losing mistake. And, especially as we're now 34 minutes in, Baron's going to go down in 4 seconds, but they can continue to pressure. If you're PSG, you can continue to pressure thanks to the inhibitor being down in bot lane. And they're just going to keep pressuring. They could get this tower. They're not going to get the inhib. but like that doesn't really matter because you're just not gonna have your opponents have vision around Drake or Baron right now, because they just can't move. And actually, the inhib doesn't come back until after both Baron and Drake spawn. So if you're PSG, you're in a massively favored position right now, and it's all based off of Adam not using that flash. And has Adam just sent BDS home? They're gonna fresher. That's gonna be Drake. That's gonna be tower going down. They're gonna keep using the same setup as well. I mean, the maple pick on Fatalia was a bad pick, and that's indisputable. But now they're in this position, it's gonna be so effective. Labrov gets a good setup. That's gonna be one going down. Can they get a second? They need to get a second here. Yanja gets away. He's definitely not gonna get killed unless Adam uses flash here. Actually, Adam could use flash. No, he's not going to bother. That's sensible. I think that's a sensible choice not to use flash unlike last time. BDS now have to just come back and recollect themselves, though. That kill's just not going to get very much for them, and that's actually kind of tragic. It means that PSG can't threaten onto the second in here. But, ooh. Adam's lost the game for PSG. Adam's lost the game for BDS. TPing his not going to work. It's not going to work. Adam's strong, but he's not going to get out. They need to catch Yuanja here. They absolutely have to catch Yuanja. And they don't. That's game. That's just game. I'm sorry. Adam has entered this game. Adam has lost BDS. Adam has knocked BDS out of Worlds. I'm stunned. How as a player? See, I thought not using flash to get away, right, initially was quite sensible when he did so much. But at the same time, like, I don't know. Don't know what you do there. When you get caught out, it's already a mistake. And then, like, he continues to commit to the in-game mistake, but Knockdown no longer has TP. That's big. So he can't sit here and clear waves. Honestly, the response was a mistake from BDS. They should have just let Adam die, I think. He's going to be back for this fight, but the inhibs just could go down, especially as Agi has TP. They can threaten the back door here. They're not going to. BDS don't win this 5v5, I don't think. They have got the flag of Labrov. Labrov's going to get caught out by the wall, though. Labrov's dead. Labrov's ult's fucked. No decent headbutt. They just need to get out now. They just need to get out. They get out. They get one out. No, they haven't got him out. They haven't got him out. Adam, stop the back. They could engage onto Agi here. That's a good engagement from Woody. Adam again down. That was a mistake from Adam again. I'm sorry, it just was. Sheo could go down here to Agi. Labrov's going to have to sacrifice himself to save Nook. You can't hold this as two. You can't hold this as two. Karani's just going to have to push this wave and then try and run bot. He's dead. He's dead. Okay, he's going to get out, which is fine. But the game's over. Game's over. That's it. We can definitely end this before Adam or Sheo get up. They can push this in enough that BDS can't compete for the next, like, anything. Timing of inhibs is a bit unfortunate because it will be coming back up right after Drake spawns, but before Baron respawns, I think, right? So that's just not good. Labrov getting stuck on the wrong side. Again, Talia's validating herself as a pick, but it was also a bad pick. I'm sorry, it was just a bad pick. The fact that BDS have played badly into it doesn't mean it was a good pick, you know? The fact that it's been useful twice, or 3 times, I guess, doesn't validate it as a good pick. It was still a bad pick, but... God. Is this really the level that you need to get to, like, Worlds. Top 8 Worlds. Like, BDS are basically finishing 9th because they were the closest to... Wait, is it 9th? No, it's not 9th. Okay, BDS are the, like, best performing Plains team if they lose this game. Like, didn't make it to the main stage. And yet, like, they've been shocking. Sorry, I can't do the maths in my head right now, so I'm just gonna, like, cheat and see how many teams are at Worlds. Yeah, so they're gonna be finishing 17th. 17th best team in the world. And they're playing like this. I'm sorry, it's just not good. I'm kind of sitting here just like in silence, just like a bit shocked that this is what it's going to come down to. Like, people are like, normally if I didn't watch this game, I'd look at it and go, oh, it's gone to 40 minutes. Oh, must have been a decent game. Must have been kind of fun to watch. It's kind of been bad. This has kind of not been a good game. Part of that is probably my EU bias. Like, I want to see BDS win this, but I mean, arguably on the other side, like, my prediction that PSG would be better than anything from LEC, I guess, kind of like helps. It like kind of makes me happy that I'm at least right about that right now. But how is this game still so close though? Like, BDS have a lot of standing gold. If they can like find a way to push out of their base, I couldn't tell you how. Like, they will have so much gold. Nook's gonna get caught at some point. I'm sorry, he just is. He's pushed too far forwards. He's gonna back before he can. Lebrov went to support him. That's not going to be good news for BDS. Sending Lebrov to support him is really not a good decision. Doesn't mean they'll have vision around Drake though. But they're really going to be able to compete for Drake. I guess actually with Nook pushing out the lane, they will. They found a way. They have found a way out of their base. It's not a sustainable. It's not a sustainable way out of base, and it's not going to be like completely get them out of base. But as long as they can like stop the minions like getting into their base like the next 2 minutes, they're probably alright. Cloud Soul as well isn't like be all and end all. It's bigger for BDS than it is for PSG, but PSG obviously want to deny it. Honestly, if you're BDS, maybe you just want to like focus Drake here, and if you're PSG, you want to focus the Drake. Lebrov's getting caught out is big ult from Maokai. They get the Drake, that's massive. Can they kill Yanja here on this side of the fight? That's the side you need to be watching. Yanja manages to get out, but he's chunked down. PSG can no longer take this fight. BDS just need to catch waves. PSG just need to catch waves. PSG are going to look to pressure top lane. Well, no, they're not. They're not going to give it. They're going to play sensible. Fair enough. Fair enough. Good choice. But they're going to get this straight. This tower is going to get very chunked out, and that's really not good news for BDS. It's going to make it way harder for them to push out. Baron spawning in 50 minutes will decide this game. 50 seconds even will decide this game. Absolutely. Well and truly decide this game. This is very interesting. Baron comes up right before inhibs. So my prediction, my rough guess on inhibs was wrong. BDS need to delay. BDS need to keep these waves high and try and delay PSG's engage onto Baron. Sorry, PSG's set up onto Baron. PSG just need to sit in this mid wave. They just need to sit on the mid wave. PSG don't even need to enter the river. If they just sit here and like stop BDS entering mid lane, they can probably win the game. Inhibs has still got 19 seconds. Baron's up. Bot lane is where BDS needs to worry, but they can't go to it. The Maokai ult doesn't get anything. Crowny's ult is popped early. Ashi's going to get caught out though in the middle. Ashi's going to go down very, very quickly. That was a bad engage from him. Waco's going to be left out on his own. That's going to be Waco going down as well. He's got Guardian Angel though. Adam's forced to pop his Go Golden. Can Crowny survive here? Can Crowny survive here? He's popped into GA. That's going to be the game. Oh my god. Again. All PSG had to do was not get engaged on and keep the mid lane. Look. You can see the bot wave. You can see the bot wave. That would have been in a hip going down. I told you, PSG just had to hold the wave and not die, not get engaged on. This is another like situation in this game. Yet again. where a team has lost because of silly engage. They can just let them. They just don't understand the macro. I really don't know how to feel. I'm stunned. BDS played that last fight as well as possible. PSG played it badly. This game was so weird. The way both sides would play so well and so badly is like very interesting. Well, hopefully soon. I mean, I'm literally still in my PJs because I've been doing work. Like, hopefully, I'll have lunch or whatever, I'll have a shower, and then we'll talk like in a different video, like breaking down like my reaction to this game. Because oh my god, Game 5 was a mess. See you in the next one.